Hi guys, welcome or welcome back. Today we are picking my December TBR. I have my jar right here. It is getting very empty, so I'm gonna have to refill it soon. So if you have any prompt ideas, let me know in the comments below. My November TBR, I'm doing all right on it. I've read 3 of the 6 books and I'm on my 4th one. So will I finish the 4th one before the end of the month? I'm hoping. Will I finish a 5th one? That might be pushing it. But without further ado, let's just get into it. I probably will pick 6 books this time as well. My husband and I are going to Disneyland for a week in December, so with that and Christmas, I am pretty positive I'm not going to be getting to all 6 of these books, but I'm still going to pick 6 so that I have some options when the time comes for me to pick my next read. So let's just get into it, shall we? First prompt is a book with a red cover. Okay. First one I'm seeing is right here. Oh, just kidding, the spine's red, but the cover is not red. I really only have one option, which is 5 Broken Blades. Technically, I also have A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, which has red in the cover, but the cover itself is not red, so I'm not gonna pick it. So the first book, the only option for this prompt, is 5 Broken Blades by Mai Corland. I've heard good things about this, and this is a beautiful copy of it, so adding this to the TBR. Prompt number 2. A fantasy, very broad category. A lot of my fantasy are on the top 2 shelves. So, ooh, I think I might. I have been really wanting to read The House in the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune. So I could do this one. I also have a lot of series that I could do, but I don't know if I really want to start another series this close to the end of the year. I could also pick Ruthless Vows because I am currently reading Divine Rivals. So that could be a good one because it will continue and end that series. So I think I'm going to do Ruthless Vows because I think that's the smartest thing to do. Prompt number 3. A book by a fave author. Do I have a fave author on this shelf? Because I have already read all of Sarah J. Maas. I could do a Taylor Jenkins Reid book because that is one of my favorite authors. I do not have her other books. I would have to listen to it. But I could also do either Anxious People by Frederick Bachman or My Grandmother Asked Me to Tell You She's Sorry. I don't know if I want to consider him a favorite author yet because I've only read one book by him, A Man Called Ove. And so I don't know if I want to consider him a favorite author yet. So I might hold off on reading one of these. Again, I have Firefly Lane from Kristen Hanna, and I could read that as well, but again, I've only read one of her books, and so I don't know if I want to consider her a favorite author yet because I've only read one book from her. So, with that said, I don't think I have any other physical copies of any books that I could pick, so let me look through my library apps and see if I have one on there that I would want to read. So I do still need to read After I Do by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and she is definitely one of my favorite authors. I have read majority of her books and all of them have been 4 or 5 stars. So I think I might do that one. And then I also still need to read Forever Interrupted by her. So I could do one of those two. I don't know which one sounds better to me. So let me look and see what they are about. Okay, I am going to do Forever Interrupted because that one sounds the best out of those two. So book number 3 is going to be Forever Interrupted by Taylor Jenkins Reid because it sounds really interesting. Prompt number 4. Husband chooses. He is not currently here. He is at work. He is like 10 minutes away from being on his lunch break. So I texted him asking if it'd be easier for me to send him a picture or to wait the 10 minutes until he's on his lunch break and FaceTime him. So we shall see what he says. I think I'm gonna pick prompt number 5 while I'm waiting for his response. Prompt number 5. Grabbed this one. Prime reading. So I do have my Kindle right here. Let's see what books I have for prime reading. I know that I have Binding 13 on here. So I could do that one. I know that's a big book, but that could definitely be an option. Is it cheating or not cheating? But I do have like a novella on here from prime reading. That would be so easy because I would finish it so fast and it would be an easy check off for December. So I might do that one. Well, it's part of the Improbable Meet Cute little novellas, but it is called Drop, Cover, and Hold On by Jasmine Guillory. So I could do that one. Also, my husband responded and he said probably wait a little, I'm going to lunch at 12. So we will give him a couple minutes to get back to me. But anyway, so I could do that one. Let's see, what else do I have? I know I have Binding 13. I have one called Same Time Next Year and then one called The Sleep Tight Motel. I want to say The Sleep Tight Motel is also a little novella, short story type thing. Yeah, it is 50 pages. I think I might actually do that one because it is supposed to be more of like a suspenseful thriller type of book versus the other novella is very cutesy rom-com vibes. And I think with it being like fall and winter, I would rather be reading the little thriller book. So I'm gonna do that one. It's literally only 50 pages, so perfect. I'll be able to get it read super quickly. But it is called The Sleep Tight Motel by Lisa Unger. I don't know exactly how to pronounce her name, but I'm gonna do that book. I also do want to read Binding 13, but it is just such a big book. And with how busy December is gonna be, I know I'm not gonna get around to reading that big of a book. So I'm just gonna pick the little novella. I know that might be cheating, but I don't really care. It's my TBR, I make the rules, I get to pick. So we're doing a novella short story. Okay, prompt number 6. This is the last prompt, but I still need to get my husband's choice, but I'm waiting for him to go on to lunch. So we will pick the 6th book in the meantime, and then we'll come back to him. A new release. I actually know exactly what I'm going to do for this one. I know exactly what I'm going to do for this one because I already have it downloaded on my Libby. I am kind of cheating. Again, not really because it still counts, but I do have the audiobook for The Boyfriend by Frida McFadden downloaded onto my Libby, and I'm just waiting to finish the book I'm currently listening to, which I'm hoping to finish today so that I can start listening to this one because it's due in 12 days. But I'm definitely going to pick that one to add to my TBR because I was already planning to listen to it, which honestly I'm probably gonna get it finished in November because it is currently the 25th. So I might be finishing it in November, which honestly is not the end of the world, but I am picking The Boyfriend by Frida McFadden. You know what? Because I am probably going to finish that book before December even starts, and I picked a short story, which I know I did on purpose, I'm going to pick a 7th book because I want to. So here's prompt number 7, which I know this totally defeats what I was saying from the beginning, but I do not care. A book with an orange cover. I do have quite a bit of books with orange covers, I think. So let's see. Oh, I could do Circe by Madeline Miller. That is very orange. I also have Warrior Girl Unearthed, which I could do that one. I could also do The Love Wager by Lynn Painter. I have been wanting to read one of her books. This is kind of like a yellowy orange cover, so I don't know if I necessarily want to count it because like the difference between these, this looks very yellow. I do have Anxious People. That is also an orange cover. I have a lot of options for this prompt. I also could do The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston, and I did really enjoy A Novel Love Story by her, and it's also a little romance, so I think that could be a good little palette cleanser. I think I'm going to pick The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. Alright, so he is ready, so I'm going to FaceTime him. Hello. Okay, so I need you to pick a book from my bookshelf. Just randomly, whatever sounds best to you. Here, let me turn you around. Whatever name sounds great. Want me to go shelf by shelf?
Yeah, shelf by shelf.
Okay, so here's the top shelf. Let me know if one calls out to you. Here's the next shelf. And shelf number 3. And
There's one. Oh.
there I still have 2 more shelves. And then the bottom shelf doesn't have as many. That's all of them.
There was one called Legendary. That's the one that...
Legendary? Okay, so if that's the one that you are going to pick, I will have to read Caraval instead because this is the first book in the series and Legendary is the second.
Oh!
So do you want to pick
Yeah, that's fine.
that? Because then I'll read this one. Or you could pick a different one if you want me to read the actual book that you pick.
Caraval's fine. I don't care.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Love you.
Thank you.
Have a great rest of your day at work.
Thanks.
Bye. Okay, so he picked... Technically is not going to be able to be the exact book because he wanted me to read Legendary, which is the second book in the Caraval series, and I have not read Caraval yet. So I will be adding Caraval to the mix, and this will be his choice. So with that said, I have all of the books here that I will be reading from. It looks like I only picked 5, even though I picked 7, because 2 of them are audiobooks from my library apps, but let's just go through all of them. So the first prompt was a book with a red cover, and for that prompt I picked 5 Broken Blades by Mai Corland. Second prompt was a fantasy book, and for that I picked Ruthless Vows to continue and finish this series because I am currently 60 pages into Divine Rivals. The next prompt was a book by a fave author, and for that I am picking Forever Interrupted by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I love her and I'm super excited to read that one. The fourth prompt was Husband Chooses, and for that we picked Caraval by Stephanie Garber. I have read the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy. I did not know you were supposed to read this trilogy before reading that trilogy, so oops, sorry. But I am excited to go back and read this one. The fifth prompt was a prime reading book, and for that we picked The Sleep Tight Motel by Lisa Unger, U-N-G-E-R. Don't know how to pronounce that. It's a little novella short story. Sixth prompt was a new release, and for that I picked The Boyfriend by Frida McFadden. I will be listening to this one. And then the seventh and final prompt is a book with an orange cover, and for that I picked The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. So those are all of the books I will be hopefully trying to read in December. I'm not going to hold it against myself if I do not get to all 7 of them, because it is December, which is a super busy month. But I hope you enjoyed watching me pick out my December TBR. Come back in January to see how I did and if I finished all of them, or which ones I finished, which ones I didn't. And I will see you in my next video. Bye!